Right now, somewhere in the world, someone just made another person laugh. They did not plan it. It just happened. And in that single moment, that tiny, stupid, beautiful moment, they continued the oldest tradition in human history. Older than religion, older than writing, older than war. The oldest joke ever discovered is 3,900 years old. It is a fart joke. And the terrifying part? It is still funny. But here is the real question nobody ever asks. Who was the very first human to tell a joke on purpose? Who was the first comedian? And why did making someone laugh become the most deeply human thing you can possibly do? The answer is going to take you back further than you ever imagined. Your laughter is ancient. Not metaphorically ancient. Biologically ancient. The sounds you make when something surprises you into joy, those sounds are at least 10 million years old. Chimpanzees laugh. Gorillas laugh. Orangutans and bonobos laugh. When you tickle a young chimp, it produces a breathy, rhythmic panting sound that is unmistakably laughter. Jane Goodall documented this. Primatologist Marina Davila-Ross recorded it and ran acoustic analysis. The laughter of great apes and the laughter of human children are so structurally similar that the evolutionary connection is undeniable. But here is what is strange. Here is what nobody tells you. Less than 20% of real-world human laughter happens because something is actually funny. Robert Provine spent years studying spontaneous laughter in public spaces. He followed people. He listened. And what he found was that most human laughter has nothing to do with jokes or humor at all. People laugh when they finish a sentence. They laugh when they make eye contact. They laugh when they are nervous, when they are agreeing, when they want someone to like them. Laughter is not a reaction to humor. Laughter is a social signal. Go back 4 million years. Your ancestors lived in groups, and staying in those groups meant survival. If you were separated from the tribe, you died. If the tribe turned against you, you died. So your brain evolved a system. A fast, automatic, body-wide signal that said, I am safe. We are safe. I am not a threat. Let us bond. That signal was laughter. Picture this. A prehistoric human sprints through the grass, heart hammering, a predator behind them. They dive behind a rock. They wait. The predator passes, and then, without deciding to, they start laughing. Shaky, breathless, relieved laughter. The rest of the group hears it and laughs too. That laughter meant, we survived. That laugh was not about anything funny. That laugh was the group saying to each other, we are still here. For millions of years, that was all laughter was. Then something changed. Around 2 million years ago, something remarkable happened inside the human brain. Researchers studying the evolution of the motor cortex found that human ancestors developed unprecedented voluntary control over their own facial muscles. Suddenly, your ancestor could choose to smile, could choose to laugh, could produce the sound of laughter without anything triggering it. Think about what that means. Before this, laughter was automatic. Something happened, and the body responded. But now, for the first time in evolutionary history, a living creature could manufacture laughter, could deploy it, could use it as a tool. That is the moment humor was born. Not the moment something was funny, the moment a creature decided to make something funny on purpose. Imagine the first time it happened. A figure sitting with their group, watching someone trip over a root, and instead of just laughing instinctively, pausing. Seeing that the laughter made people relax, made them feel closer, and then, deliberately, doing something to make it happen again. A funny face. An exaggerated stumble. A sound that mimicked something absurd. The first comedian did not have a stage. They had a campfire and a tribe, and a brain smart enough to realize, if I do this, they laugh. And if they laugh, they like me more. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent years studying how social bonds form in primates. In chimps, the primary bonding mechanism is grooming, picking through each other's fur, physically touching, maintaining closeness one pair at a time. It is time-consuming. It does not scale. You can only groom one individual at a time. But laughter? Laughter bonds a group simultaneously. One funny moment, and 20 people feel closer to each other in the same instant. Dunbar argued that humor and laughter became the human replacement for grooming. The mechanism that let early humans build and maintain larger, more complex social groups than any other species on Earth. The first joke was not entertainment. It was infrastructure. Somewhere between 100,000 and 35,000 years ago, something else happened. Language became fully symbolic. Humans could now talk about things they had never seen, things that did not exist. They could tell stories, build myths, describe the future, and somewhere in there, in that explosion of imagination, they started doing something no other species has ever done. They started making each other laugh with words, not with tickling, not with physical comedy, with arrangements of sounds that, in the right order, created a surprise inside another person's mind that made them exhale sharply through their nose. That is a joke. And it requires a level of cognitive sophistication that is, as far as we know, unique to humans. Now fast forward to 1900 BC, Mesopotamia, the banks of the Euphrates. A Sumerian scribe presses a reed stylus into wet clay and records what is now the oldest confirmed written joke in human history. It reads, something which has never occurred since time immemorial. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. Let that sink in for a moment. 3,900 years ago. Clay tablet, fart joke. The Guinness World Records confirmed it. Scholars authenticated it. And historians noted something remarkable. This was not meant to be a serious proverb. This was written to be funny. This was a joke, recorded, preserved, and handed down across nearly 4 millennia just to land here, in front of you, still making you react. Nothing has changed. The delivery method has changed. The medium has changed. But the mechanism? Surprise? Subverted expectation? A topic that everyone knows but nobody says out loud? Is exactly the same. Then there is the second oldest joke ever found. Also Sumerian. Also ancient. And this one is even more fascinating. Not because it is funny, but because nobody knows why it is funny. It goes, a dog walks into a bar and says, I cannot see a thing. I will open this one. Scholars have debated it for decades. The punchline is gone. The cultural context that made it land, the specific reference, the wordplay, the in-joke that every Sumerian apparently understood, has been completely lost to time. The world's first bar joke, and not a single historian on Earth gets it. There's something beautiful about that. Something humbling. That humor is so deeply embedded in culture, in moment, in shared experience, that even the smartest people alive today cannot decode a joke that once made an entire civilization laugh. You laugh because your ancestors needed to bond. You laugh because your brain evolved a social signal and then learned to manufacture it. You laugh because somewhere in the deep history of your species, one person figured out that making another person laugh was the fastest way to make a friend. And that person, whoever they were, wherever they sat, whatever they said, started everything. Every comedian who ever lived, every joke ever told, every moment in your life where you laughed until you could not breathe. All of it traces back to one prehistoric human who looked at another human and thought, I can make them do that on purpose. You do not know their name. You never will. But right now, somewhere in the world, someone just made another person laugh. And without knowing it, they are continuing something that began before language, before civilization, before any of the things you think make humans human. The oldest thing you do every day is laugh. And you still do not know why something is funny. Nobody does. If laughter is ancient, so is this channel. Subscribe, and we will keep going back further together.